Welcome to the Mythical Cavern. I'm Erin. It is another Tarot Thursday, and I am sorry that I did not do Magical Monday the last 2 Mondays. Life just got in the way, but I will be back this next Monday for sure to do our May sequence where we talk about the number 5 because it is the 5th month of the year. So we will do that for sure on Monday for Magical Monday. But today is Tarot Thursday. So last 2 weeks we went through the entire major arcana, and last week I said we were gonna start on the wands suits, and then after looking at the cards and doing a little more studying over the past week, I decided to not just do the wand suite, and instead we're going to do it in order of numbers because I think it'll make it a little more sense, plus it will reiterate the elements, and so it'll be all 4 elements every single week, but today will be cards Ace through 5 or 1 through 5, and then next week we will do 6 through 10, and then we will do the Royal Court. And then once we are done with the Royal Court, we will be done with the tarot. We will have covered every single card in the tarot deck. So today, let's get started with our aces. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the next few minutes with me. Okay, so now we have the aces out here. And so we have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Wands is the fire sign. The Ace of Pentacles is the earth sign. The Ace of Swords is the air sign. And the Ace of Cups is the water sign. So what the Ace represents is abundance. Ace is very powerful in the pips. So if you think of like poker, ace is high, and so even though it starts out the pips and it's kind of like the root, think of it as the ace in poker. It's high, it's full of abundance, it's a good card full of creativity, and you can see in all 4 aces there's a hand holding up each of the symbols. So the wands, the pentacles, the swords, and the cups. So what one means in numerology is creativity, originality, innovation. So that's what these represent as well in the ace. So if you look, we have the Ace of Wands, and there's a castle here. So the ace, with the wands and everything, with fire, this represents your hands, hands-on. So you're gonna build, hands-on, you're gonna build the castle right here. And then the earth is the pentacle. And if you think about the pentacle, it has a star, which obviously is 5 points. And so we'll go over this when we talk about the number 5 on Monday and Magical Monday. But the 5 points actually represent all of these elements. All of these elements are in this star, plus spirit. So everything comes from earth. And so if you look, there's a beautiful garden down here. And this beautiful garden just is that everything is green and growing. So you're just growing what you need to right now if you get the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Swords. So the swords is air, but it's also our mental power. So this is like your head. So the fact that there's a crown at the top just reminds us that this is your headspace. This is your thinking. This is what that means. It means that it's mental power, and so you are triumphant. You are the king. This is, victorious thoughts, abundance. Working, your ideas are working towards great things. Then over here, the Ace of Cups. is overflowing. If you see, the hand is holding up the cup and it's overflowing, and there's a dove and flying out of the cup, and it's just beautiful, and there's lily pads and everything down here, and it's just a bunch of emotions overflowing. Again, an overflowing cup, with a hand holding it up to support it. So that means that life is good right now. Your emotions are right where they need to be. They're in balance, and life is good. So all of these are really good cards to get in the tarot. So this is, again, the aces. So fire, earth, air, and water. So the twos are about making plans, but it's also in numerology, it's kind of more like the secretive number. So these people are mysterious, and they are making plans. So again, we have our wands, our pentacles, our swords, and our cups. So in our wands over here, if we look closely at the card, it shows this man is planted. He has his two wands planted on his castle wall that we saw on the first card, the Ace card, in the distance, and he's holding the whole world in his hands. So he is making plans, and again, with his hands. So the wands is all about creativity and doing things with our hands. So he is making plans. He's the innovator. He's the one who's going to go out and do something great in the world. And so he's just working on that plan. In Pentacles, he's happy, and he's sitting here juggling in the infinity sign, the Pentacles, which is representative of juggling everything that life brings. But it's not in a bad way, because there's some emotion, because there is a little bit of water, but he's standing on land. So he's got both feet on the ground, and then he's juggling, and he does have a smile on his face. So this just means like juggling your job, your family, school, whatever, all at once. And so this is the Pentacles, about juggling at life's things. This one looks kind of, I don't know, it seems like it's very formidable. She's blindfolded, and she's holding these two swords, but she's sitting down. There is emotion here, because again, there's the water, and she's sitting down and thinking. So remember that the swords is mental, so that means that she's deep in thought, and she's blinded. So she's blindfolded herself because she's not tied down or anything. So this really represents just taking the time to turn off all the white noise that surrounds us every day, and just listen to yourself. That's really what the Two of Swords is, and make plans that work for you. So that's the Two of Swords. And then over here we have the Two of Cups, and you have the two people, and they're cheersing and each other, and then they have this really interesting Gryffindor up here, winged lion. But it's just a very powerful card. And even though it's emotion, because we know that it's emotion because it's the Cups card, which means emotion, there's no water in this photo. So that just goes to show that right now the emotion is grounded, but it's making plans for a bright future. And it's not necessarily an emotional card, but it's, again, a good card. So the twos are also a decent card, and it's just making plans. Now for the threes, we have, again, the wands, the pentacles, the swords, and the cups. And so for the wands, if you look closely, he's standing here amongst those wands, and he's watching the ships come in, the tide come in. So this is about starting a journey. All of these are about different journeys. So this one, he's about to start his journey. So in the twos, he was planning that journey, but he wasn't ready to leave yet because he was still at his castle. But here he is more ready to leave, but he's watching for the right tide. He's watching for the right time to go on that journey. So this is just about watching and waiting and seeing if, because right now might not be the best time, but it's there and you know that it's going to happen. It's just maybe taking a step back before you go on that journey. Then here in the Pentacles, this one is about teamwork. They are working together. And if you look at these three people, hold on, let me see what they're doing. So it just looks like they're like planning something together and they're working together. So it could be like a performance. That's kind of what it looks like to me, is that they're performing for, rehearsing for something big. So they're planning like a big performance or big journey and they're working together. So that's a teamwork card. The Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is an emotional card. If you see, they go right through this heart. And then there's rain, clouds. And so this is about loss. This is about again, it's mental. So it's, you are preparing yourself for a death, possibly, or you are preparing yourself for the journey of being alone after a death or something like that. This is a card that's basically saying that your journey right now is probably grief-stricken because there's so much water, which we know is emotional, rain around this, and it's right through the heart, and it's the swords. And so this is your thoughts. This is your mental, gut-wrenching thoughts. This is making those decisions that you maybe are not wanting to make, like putting down an animal or taking a loved one off of life support. That kind of thing is going to come from this card. Then we go to the Three of Cups. And this one's kind of more like celebration in some ways. This is a tribute, this is like your friendships, and this is a journey of friendships, whether they're new or they're old, or it's just starting a journey together with your friends, knowing who has your back, knowing who's a part of your tribe. That is the Three of Cups. And again, there's no water, so it's not overly emotional. Like the Swords is the overly emotional one in the threes, but over here in the Cups, it's not overly emotional, but it's like a good, they're dancing and they're having fun, and it's, three ladies and they know that they have each other's back. So that is the threes. Now we'll move on to the fours. So the fours are about resting. It's about taking that time. It is that seventh day of rest that we've learned all about. And so it's about that rest. So again, Wands, Pentacles, Swords, and Cups. So over here, in the Four of Wands, it looks like there's like a marriage and stuff, and a lot of people, if you're married or you've been to a wedding, you're like, how is that restful? But it is about them spending the rest of their lives together, and they're walking through, and it's about, again, hands-on, and creativity, and so it's just finding their restful place within each other, and that's a celebration in the Wands. But even celebrations can be restful, and it's just the two of them. So it's not like there's a big ceremony going on, but it's just the two of them going through, and it's a big celebration and finding a way to rest the rest of your life. So that's what I think of it as, the rest of your life, but it's still a resting card. Then over here in the Pentacles, you have the royalty right there. They've got the crown. So prince, a king, we're not sure, but he's sitting down and he's got his feet planted on pentacles. He's holding a pentacle. He's got a pentacle above his head. And so this just is the ultimate resting card. He is resting and he is happy with where things are in his kingdom right now. So that is the Pentacles. Then over here in the Swords, we're not sure if he's sleeping, if he's dead, but he doesn't have a sword through him or anything. When we get into some later cards, you'll see swords actually through people, and that's kind of disturbing. But he has the 3 swords on the wall and the sword here on his bed. And so that's the 4 swords, and he's just relaxing and he's just resting. And then over here in the Cups, this guy is just sitting here against the tree. He's got 3 cups in front of him over here. And then this windstorm out of nowhere in hand is handing him a cup. So this just is more of like a resting, but alone with your thoughts and alone with your emotions. So the Swords is mostly our thinking card, and this is more of our emotional card, but this one is the wind is blowing you in the right direction, and this is like your emotions are pretty stable right here. You don't see much water in this card either. And you're just resting and thinking about what's best for you. So this is more of our thinking card in the 4s. The 5s are kind of hard. After the 4s, these are not restful cards. These are the opposite of restful. This is the renewed action cards. These are not the same. So we'll go through them. So we have Wands, Pentacles, Swords, and Cups. So the Wands, if you look, you could say they're working together possibly, but there's no way that you can build a house in the way that they're building this. And there's a guy in the middle who has he's trapped. They're building around him. So that represents like obstacles, or it could be that everybody has a wand and nobody's listening to the other people on their ideas and how to get this built, how to get whatever they're trying to build with their wands. Nothing is working. This is the roadblocks of conversation. This is where everybody's talking over each other and nobody's listening. That's this card. Then you have the Pentacles, and in this Pentacles, you see that the 5 Pentacles are actually in this stainless window of what could be believed to be the church. And they are down on their luck. They're walking in snow. You can tell that they're down on their luck. I mean, he's on crutches and they're wearing shabby clothing. And so what this card represents is that, yeah, life is hard right now. But if you look, there's a glow right here. There is hope. You just have to look up and face the facts that sometimes we need help. And it's okay to ask for help, and that help is right there. You just need to find it. You just need to look up, and you need to not walk by it. You need to just accept that sometimes we need help. That is the 5 of Pentacles. Then the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords is an interesting card because we don't know what these swords, we don't know if he's taking these swords from the people back here, or if he is just if they're his swords, we don't know the whole story here. We just see this guy and then we see the backs here. And so to me, it's a sneaky card. It's kind of like the people talking behind your back. That's what it reminds me of, because their backs are to him and he's got his swords up. He has one sword up and one sword down and then a couple on the ground. And so, or I'm sorry, 2 swords up, 1 sword down, and 2 on the ground. And so the swords, I think that's really what it's about. I think that it's about weighing whether you should betray somebody. I mean, we've all been in that situation of white lies and whether they're good or bad. We've all been in that situation of being backstabbed or, you know, gossip and that kind of card. And so it's like he's weighing his options, because this is a thinking card. So that's what it says to me, is that he is weighing his options on whether or not to betray his friends or these people down here, whether he should backstab them. So, and like be tricky about it. So he could be stealing those swords while their backs are turned. That's a very big possibility. So, but it's about trickiness and backstabbing and betrayal. So again, not a great card. And then we move on to this emotional card, the 5 of Cups. And if you see, we have 2 cups that are upright over here, and we have the 3 spilled cups over here. We have water, and we have this person with their head tilted down and just in despair. And so what this card to me says is that they are looking down at the spilled stuff, the what could have happened, what could have been. This is the what could haves. So when you are in emotional despair, we've all been there, you do start questioning the what if this happened instead? If I had played that differently, would I be somewhere else today? If I had done better at this, would I have gotten that? We've all played those what if games with our emotions, and that's this card. This card is looking at the what ifs, the stuff that's spilled, and saying, what if I had done this? Would I have been able to get those cups upright? Would I have been able, because his back is to the upright cups, and he's looking down at the 3 spilled ones. So he's just doing the what if game, which I think everybody is guilty of. So that is the 5s, and that is the last of the tarot cards for tonight on Tarot Thursday. So we will start with number 6 next week, going through all of the cards, and so we'll do 6 through 10 next week in the minor pips on Tarot Thursday. But we will be going through the 5s actually. On Monday, for Magical Monday, we will talk about the power of 5, and it will not be depressing like the 5 cards here, the tarot. I am not going to probably go over the tarot cards because I just went over them today. So anyway, that is it for me, and please like, subscribe, share, and we will see you Monday for Magical Monday. Bye.